So guys, welcome to another episode of the Personal PR Show. And today we're here with sales consultant Stefano Curcio, all the way from Italy. Welcome, Stefano. How are you today?
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you, Jessica?
I'm good, thank you. Although it's very cold here in Zurich today, cold and grey, and it's rainy. How about you? Because in
Same
Italy,
here.
it's the sun. Really? Oh my God.
Same here. It's pretty humid. It's been raining the whole morning.
That's weird because everybody, like, I'm Italian myself, so I know that this is not true, but most people think that it's always nice weather in Italy. Does it happen to you as well?
Well, yeah, but like most of the Europeans that I talk with, they're kind of aware that in the north we don't get the good of a weather compared to the south. But yeah, most of the people think that the weather is nice here. It's not. I mean, it's in the south. It's a lot better, but here it's not that great all year long. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said here in northern Italy, you are in Rimini, right?
Yeah.
I am from the border between Italy and Switzerland. So for us, you guys are central Italy.
Yeah, I know. But we actually, I know. But we are kind of like the south, the most southern part of the northern part of Italy, which is kind of like center, but not really. Yeah.
So fun, so much fun. Oh my God. Yeah, that's true. So it's always a matter of perspective, isn't it?
It is absolutely.
Okay, Stefano, we're here to talk about, like, the title of our conversation is how to generate clients through elegant outbound. Oh my God, what is this? What is elegant outbound?
Yeah, happy to share more about it. So elegant outbound. So outbound is a practice that it's very, it's commonly used by most B2B companies, especially when they're starting off or at some point of their life, they tend to at least test the cold outbound lead generation strategy. And it doesn't really have a good name. So it indeed has a really bad name. So since I have created my own method that is more elegant in a way that it doesn't involve any cold pitching at all. So I really wanted to create this, wanted to like introduce a new term that would create a contrast between like the common perception of outbound and what I'm doing with cold outbound. So I found that the word elegant worked really well because like I have a lot of people that reach out to me and ask me, oh, like, tell me more about the elegant cold outbound. Because like this is something that my perception doesn't make any sense because I cold outbound, it's all about really knocking at people's door unsolicitedly and pitch them your product.
Yeah, wow. Okay. I love this. It reminds me of a concept from a coach that I am working with at the moment. I'm in her mastermind, and she talks about elegant vulnerability, right? Because vulnerability can be messy, right? So, but if we find the right angle, it can be elegant as well. It can be productive and so on, and can still retain basically your leadership and authority and credibility, right? Although you are being credible. So the parallel with what is it that you do is basically that you can still reach out to people, but in a way that is not salesy and is not pushy, right?
Correct.
In a way that is magnetic, although it is you going to them, but it's nearly that you're kind of attracting them in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I of course I have this dual strategy. I create content, so I attract clients, I attract leads and audience, but at the same time I do cold outbound. But the cold outbound that I do, it's really all about generating a conversation. And then I have once I generated a conversation, I started a conversation with the prospect. I have a couple of questions that help me to understand whether the lead has a problem that I can solve for them. And if they do have a certain problem and they have urgency to fix it, which I discovered through a conversation, but like a very human conversation, very natural, I offer them a call. Yeah. If they are not ready to jump on a call or they have different priorities, they can always say no. But in this way, I found that I can continue that relationship with the prospect. So maybe like the prospect keeps seeing my content, and through my content that realize they might actually need my help. Even after a few weeks, a few months, they get back to me. I have a lot of people that actually, after I had a conversation with them, after like a few days, weeks or months, they get back to me and say, yo, Steph, I think I'm ready to work with you. So in this way, the outbound does not like burn the leads for me. So I can continue the relationship, and it works fantastic for both myself and my clients.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Which is actually the way that you and I got into a conversation as well, isn't it? On LinkedIn.
Yeah, correct.
Good. Yeah, and we started talking about the weather, right? You were like, "Oh my God, I'm here in Rimini, and it's not nice weather today. What's the weather like in Zurich?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's great here as well." So, and this is how the conversation started, which was amazing. And was certainly not the style that you get all the time with these email people and so
Yeah,
on LinkedIn, right? Yeah. And they're really pushy and salesy from message number one. I'm like, I can't even be bothered to reply, not even once, right? Because I know what
right.
it's about, right? Yeah, truly. So that is
Right.
very elegant. Your style is truly elegant. Okay, cool. But we connected on LinkedIn, right?
Mhm.
So is something elegant outbound, is it something that we should mostly do on LinkedIn, or does this methodology apply to other platforms as well?
That's a great question. So I'm currently just using it on LinkedIn, but it can, like I use it in the past on Facebook as well. It's not really the same, kind of like the same version, because of course on Facebook, you do not have the same tools that you have on LinkedIn. Works a little bit differently, and especially the prospecting part is not that it's not that well defined. Like on LinkedIn, you can really see what a person is doing, really like what stage their business is. But sometimes on Facebook, they do not really have like career information. So I wouldn't say it works the same, but you can use like different iterations of it and on Instagram as well. So, but yeah, I'm mainly using it on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, at the same time as well, like business people, like real business people are certainly on LinkedIn. Maybe they're not
Yeah.
on Facebook, on Instagram, but yeah, it's like it's more credible. It's a more credible platform. People mean business, I have the feeling, where
Yeah.
so many people
Correct.
that on Instagram just messing around, right? Maybe they're calling themselves entrepreneurs, but at the end of the day, they're just messing around. Exactly. You're totally right. Okay, cool. So another question that I have for you is, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
you get this question a lot. It is, yeah, it's fun to be in touch and keep conversing with so many different people, but is it scalable? Like, I mean, I can't spend all day DMing with people, right? So what would
Yeah.
be the answer to this?
No, that's a really great question. Yeah, I get that quite often. What I always tell people, so first of all, my method of really cold outbound consists of 3 steps, really 3 message exchanges. That's it. So it's not like really long conversation. You want to get to the point very, very fast. And if people are not willing to talk business, that's completely fine. But you want to get that as fast as possible, because of course you have a business to run. The second way through which I scale cold outbound is automation. But really my automation, it's all about basically finding touch points with scraping software and starting a conversation. That's it. After, like, usually my questions are like, oh, I saw that you like this certain post. Do you agree with the content creator of this post that, for example, you need to diversify your income stream on LinkedIn to be a successful solopreneur? That's kind of like the question that I ask. Once I get the reply, then from there, I continue the conversation and I ask what I call the validating questions. Okay, a couple of questions, that's it. And then I offer the call. And the third way through which you can scale cold outbound or outbound in general on LinkedIn, it's if you get other people. So if you get your employees to do the same thing for you. So create content and do outbound.
Yeah, certainly.
So it's absolutely scalable. Yeah.
Scalable. But then the next question is, Stefano, what is going to be the role of ChatGPT and or AI now?
That's a really great question. So I'm currently so I don't really do much cold emailing. With cold emailing, you can really leverage ChatGPT and AI. With LinkedIn Outbound, I wouldn't say it's that, unless you are, for example, targeting, I don't know, like e-commerces or SaaS, where you need, for your scraping, you need to make sure that the companies you reach out to have are operating in a SaaS space or e-commerce space. And this is not always, you cannot like identify these companies through LinkedIn, through Sales Navigator, for example. So you need like an extra help, and ChatGPT can provide that kind of help. But for outbound done through my method doesn't really, like AI or ChatGPT doesn't really have an impact in terms of like messaging, for example. But it's more about the scraping, the prospecting.
Okay, I understand. All right. Wow, we know so much more now. The next question that I have that has just occurred to me, Stefano, is how come your English is so good? Usually, Italians are not very good at foreign languages, aren't they?
Thank you. Because when I was 23, I moved to Australia. I studied my master's in Sydney, and I lived abroad for a while. I lived in Malta, Australia, and Japan. So this is like, I picked up English in Australia, of course, but then when I was in Japan, I was also speaking English. So
of course. So you were not speaking Japanese, not that much.
I do. Yeah, I speak Japanese. Yeah, but with friends, I could, like, I have conversation, like when I will hang out with friends, I speak Japanese 99% of the time, but at work was a lot more complicated for me because we have a different kind of register in terms of like formality and different words. That was kind of more challenging, but with friends, I almost have no problem speaking English. Japanese, sorry.
Japanese. Oh my God, this is amazing. And I do have another question because I'm reading your bio and it says, throughout my life, I have been a mediocre semi-pro bowler, an uninterested hotelier, a really bad accountant, a decent marketer, scared to succeed, and then I failed, like a failed freelancer, consultant, business owner 4 times, right? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I tried so many different careers. Yeah, that's true.
This is amazing because usually in bios, in media bios, everybody is basically bragging about their accolades, right? And you do the opposite here. So this really stands out. I would like to congratulate you on the message of this bio.
I appreciate that. No, really, my goal is to really, for me, one of the biggest challenges of my life was really to find something that I was passionate about. And I tried so many things and I failed so many times, and it wouldn't make sense for me to pretend that I was kind of like the kind of person that, just tried something and succeeded. Because also this, I believe this can empower other people because, like if I did it, really everybody can do it. Like I was very, I didn't really have much self-confidence. Even when I got results, for example, freelancing, I was doing very good with marketing. Like I launched a coaching business that became a 8-figure business in the time span of 2 years, sorry.
Oh my God.
And a couple of 7-figure businesses as well. But I was, 7-figure and 2 6-figure businesses. But I still wasn't really confident that I could replicate the same results for other people. So really, if I did it, everybody can do it. You just need a system really to, especially like really read and implement the feedback. Because that's a thing. Because like most people, when they get negative feedback, they kind of like tend to give up, right? Like I got something wrong. I'm not sure like I can ever succeed with this, but that's part of the path. Like that's part of the whole journey. So really, you just need to like learn lessons from your failures and move on. That's all. Absolutely. That's all really you need.
Yeah, some people go on to say even that, it's not failure. This is actually just intelligence that you get, like new data points that you get and you can implement in the future as well. Yeah, certainly. I totally agree. And this has a lot to do, of course, with business, but a lot with visibility as well. I notice this all the time. I have my own visibility wounds. Like sometimes, like I'm practically all the time out there. I go live 4 times a day, blah, blah, blah. So of course, there will be situations in which I don't really perform at my abilities. And maybe I post something that I thought nobody would see, but I posted it, and then and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I mean, you only, if you don't do anything, you won't, so to say, fail, right? Once you fail,
correct.
The moment you start acting and doing things and so on, then it's mathematically, sure that you will fail sooner or later, right? So absolutely, I totally agree with your.
You go live 4 times a day. That's crazy.
Yeah, I go live 4 times. I should actually start going live 6 times a day. I keep repeating this to myself.
That's insane. Okay.
Yeah, but it's fun. I've been going live for 179 days in a row. I was going live before as well, in a row with no break, but it's many days. And it's great. It's such great accountability, because if I didn't go live today, then tomorrow I have to start from scratch, from day one again, which I can't be bothered. There's so many times that I can't be bothered to go live, but I'm like, I don't want to start from scratch tomorrow and lose, all of the 779 days that I've gone live every single day thus far, right? So that's why. Yes, very practical as well. Like, it's very, let's say, I perform best when I put pressure on myself. How about you?
Got it. No, I tend to do that as well, especially with more with sales quota rather than, for example, like output. I tend to like set goals for myself. Like, I need to make, I don't know, 15Ks this month, and that is really what like pushes me.
Yeah,
to keep my word with myself, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. I'm a very output driven person, and it's not always correct. Like, of course you can go live 10 times a day, but at the end of the day you have to make sure
it's bringing a return.
And this is what a lot of people do. Like, they go into overaction, of course, right? And they think that that's good, but then the results don't come, right? So totally, absolutely. Thank you for the shift in perspective. Stefano, we are approaching the end of our conversation, but I do have one last question for you, which is a question in itself. Some people are like, what? Some people are like, oh, no, actually, I love this question. It helps me think. So the question is, what is something that I haven't asked you over the past 24 minutes, but I should have asked you?
That's a really good question.
You like it?
Maybe how I can help people. That will make sense, maybe, to share for me.
Absolutely. Stefano, what you've talked about, Elegant Outbound, is amazing. We want to know more. How can you help people, and how can we find you?
So you can really find me on LinkedIn under @Curcio. Really, that's my not really my at Steph Curcio, but really, if you look up for Stefano Curcio, which is my full name, you can also find me. So how I help people, like, I really have an accelerator where I work with people from all over the world. I currently launch a cohort that I really sold out in 24 hours. So I've expanded to 5 more people. So I'm currently onboarding 5 more people into my accelerator. I have a crazy offer right now, which is, and I'm enjoying it so much. I have people from Australia, the US, Europe, and it's really fantastic.
Oh my gosh, so good. Are there any live calls? If so, then people in some time zone will have to wake up in the middle of the night to participate. I love that.
Yeah, there are live calls, but currently, for some reason, so I have different cohorts, and this particular cohort, everybody's from that side of the world, so like Asia, Australia, Europe. So really, I do not have anyone that is waking up in the middle of the night currently.
Yeah, that's very well organized then. Because there's so many programs for which you have to get up in the middle of the night. Oh my God, we'll be sure to include all of your links in here. And if you want, we can include a link to the offer as well. Maybe people will watch this in a few weeks and a few months, and then this won't be current anymore. But you said that you run cohorts, right? So this accelerator is certainly not happening for the last time this month, right?
I'm not sure whether I'll still have cohorts in a few months, but right now I do. So it's really a lifetime program, but I onboard people through like a 4-week cohort-based work. And then I'll put them in my accelerator that is lifetime. We have 1 consulting call like every week forever, as long as the program is running.
That's nice. Wow.
Yeah, I do not have any website for this. This is a part of my strategy, actually, not to have a website for.
So people would have to reach out to you. So guys, if you want to know more, you have to reach out to Stefano on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah,
exactly. That's awesome. Perfect. Stefano, thank you so much for sharing your
wisdom.
Thank you,
Jessica.
And all of your expertise with us. This has been a treat. And have fun in Bali, because you told me that you're going to Bali. So guys, if anybody of you, and I know there are a few of you, are in Bali, reach out to Stefano, and then when you go out for drinks.
Absolutely.
So good. Thank you, Stefano. Enjoy Italy as long as you're there. And guys, I'll see you very soon, like in an hour or so, for the next episode of the Personal PR Show. Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.